She sat pressed against the stone wall, knees drawn up, phone hidden between trembling palms. The screen's glow painted her face blue in the darkness, the only light besides the single bulb swinging overhead, already dying. The basement had never been finished. Exposed beams clawed across the ceiling like skeletal fingers. The air tasted of rust and old violence. Water stains spread across the walls in patterns that looked almost intentional. One bar of signal flickered on her screen. Appeared. Vanished. Appeared again. It was a heartbeat. A lifeline. The only thing between her and the complete darkness. Above her, the old farmhouse settled with the weight of something living. Footsteps crossed the floor, slow, deliberate, heavy boots on old wood. Each one placed to be heard. Each one a reminder that he was still up there. Waiting. His voice drifted down through the gaps in the floorboards, and she pressed herself harder against the wall. She's calming down. Selim spoke into his phone like he was discussing the weather, like she was a problem being managed. Fear burns itself out. It always does. A pause. She held her breath. Then laughter, low and satisfied, a sound that crawled under her skin and made a home there. No, she won't try anything. There's nowhere for her to go. She bit down on her lip until she tasted copper. Her nails carved crescents into her palms, small moons of pain to keep her focused. He's wrong. He has to be wrong. The phone vibrated. Signal. Finally. Her hands shook so violently she nearly dropped it. She didn't check who she was texting, there was no time for that, no time to scroll through contacts with names like Mom and Sarah and Emergency. Her thumbs moved faster than thought, muscle memory taking over. Help. He locked me in the basement. Sent. The word appeared beneath the message like a promise. Delivered. Her breathing stopped. The world narrowed to that screen, to those 3 dots that might appear. To the possibility that someone, anyone, might see this. The phone buzzed. Who is this? Wrong number. Of course it was a wrong number. In a universe designed for cruelty, of course her one chance would be someone else's phone, someone else's life. Her fingers hovered over the screen. Should she stop? Save the battery? Try again with someone who actually knew her, who might believe her. Upstairs, a drawer scraped open with a sound like bones grinding. Metal clinked softly against metal, tools, maybe, or something worse. Her fear decided for her. Please. Old farmhouse past the dry mill on Route 47. He's upstairs. He said he's going to kill me and dump me where no one will find me. I'm scared. The signal flickered like a candle in wind. She hit send anyway, closed her eyes, whispered something that might have been a prayer. Silence. The kind that stretched and stretched, that filled the basement until she thought she might drown in it. Then. Stay with me. Don't stop typing. The words appeared with terrifying calm. No questions. No doubt. No, are you sure, or is this a joke, or maybe you should call the police instead? Just certainty. Her lips parted. Her breath came faster. He's my boyfriend. Or he was. His name is Selim. He changed. He hurt me. I tried to leave but he won't let me. The reply came instantly, like the person on the other end had been waiting for exactly this message, exactly this moment. Men like that never do. Something in those words made her colder than the concrete ever could. They were too knowing. Too familiar with violence. Please call the police. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Each second lasted an hour. The police won't reach you in time. But I will. Her breath caught in her throat. Who are you? A pause. Long enough for her heart to crack against her ribs, for doubt to creep in at the edges. Someone who saves the weak and makes predators pay. The words felt wrong. Too smooth. Too rehearsed. Like a line from a movie. From a story that didn't end well. Listen carefully, you're going to survive this. But only if you trust me. The basement door rattled. Dust drifted down from the ceiling, catching in the dying light like snow. The lock turned with agonizing slowness, click, click, click. Light spilled down the stairs, sharp and bright and terrible. Selim's shadow stretched along the wall, tall, distorted, inhuman in its proportions. There you are. His voice floated down, soft and affectionate, like he'd found a lost pet. Did you miss me? She pressed herself against the wall, tried to become stone, tried to disappear. He took one step down. Then another. Each footfall deliberate. I told you not to touch your phone. His tone was gentle. Disappointed. The voice of a teacher with a student who just won't learn. You never listen. That's always been your problem. In his hand, rope. Brown and coarse, already formed into a noose. Her phone buzzed against her palm. When he gets close, scream. Loud as you can. She shook her head at the screen, frantic. He'll hurt me. He's already decided to. Selim reached the bottom of the stairs. The light behind him turned him into a silhouette, featureless and dark. Then he stepped forward and she saw his face. He was smiling. Easy, almost kind. The smile he'd worn on their first date, when she'd thought she was the luckiest girl alive. I just need you to behave, he said softly, reasonably. That's all I ever asked. Just be good, and this will be easier. A sound came from outside. Distant. Faint. Almost imaginary. An engine. Selim's smile flickered like that dying bulb. His head snapped toward the stairs. The engine grew louder. Gravel crunched under heavy tires, multiple vehicles, moving fast. His jaw tightened. The rope twisted in his hands. What did you do? The sound roared to a stop outside. The entire house seemed to shake. Doors slammed. Boots hit gravel in synchronized rhythm. 1 set. 2. 3. More. Her phone vibrated one last time. He hears me now. Selim swore, a vicious, ugly sound, and spun toward the stairs. The basement door exploded inward. Wood splintered. Splinters rained down like daggers. Light flooded the stairwell, so bright after the darkness that she threw up her arm to shield her eyes. Shouts echoed through the house, sharp, military, precise. Trained voices calling coordinates and confirmations. Selim lunged for her. And then hands dragged Plim backward, slammed him into the wall with enough force to crack plaster, forced him down onto the concrete. The rope fell useless beside her feet, its shadow stretching toward her like an accusation. Men in black tactical gear flooded the basement like water breaching a dam, moving as one organism. No hesitation. No confusion. They knew exactly where to go, exactly what they'd find. 6 of them. All armed. All focused. At the center of them stood a man in a dark coat. Tall. Composed. Still. While everyone around him moved with purpose, he simply stood there, hands clasped behind his back. His presence commanded the room without effort, without words. He looked at Selim the way one might look at an insect, with clinical interest but no empathy. You made a mistake, he said quietly. His voice never rose above a whisper, yet everyone stopped to listen. Selim laughed, breathless, wild, blood trickling from his nose where his face had met the wall. You think this is over? You think you're saving her? The man crouched beside him with fluid grace. His expression never changed, calm, almost bored. No, he said. This is where it starts. He stood and turned toward her. Up close, he was colder than she'd imagined. Sharp cheekbones that could cut glass. Dark eyes, gray as winter ice in the headlight still flooding through the door, that assessed her like she was a problem requiring calculation. "You did well," he said. She tried to stand. Her legs gave out. The concrete rushed up to meet her. He caught her easily, one hand under her elbow. His grip was firm but not painful. Steady. For a moment, one perfect, crystalline moment, she thought she was safe. Then she saw it. The sleeve of his coat pulled back as he reached to steady her. There, black ink spiraling up his wrist. Intricate. Deliberate. A sigil she'd seen before. The same symbol. The exact same symbol she'd seen glowing on Selim's laptop screen 3 months ago, before he'd slammed it shut and smiled and said it was just work, nothing important. She'd asked him about it. He'd kissed her forehead and changed the subject. Her blood turned to ice in her veins. "You." Her voice came out broken, shattered. "You know him." He didn't deny it. Didn't even blink. "Yes." The room tilted. The floor became the ceiling, became the walls. "You're with him." She tried to pull away. His grip held. "Let me go." His grip tightened, not painful, but possessive. Claiming. "No," he said calmly, like he was explaining something simple to a child. This was inevitable. Her mind raced, stumbling over itself. The phone number she'd texted, where had she gotten it? She'd found it months ago. A business card left on her windshield in a grocery store parking lot, "When you need help." She'd thought it was strange. Kept it anyway, tucked it in her phone case. She'd thought it was chance. "I sent you that number," he said, as if reading her thoughts. As if he'd been waiting to say this. 4 months ago. Her breath came in shallow gasps. The basement spun. "What?" "The first time Selim laid a hand on you." His voice was quiet. Clinical. A doctor delivering a diagnosis. He crossed into territory that belongs to me. A new kind of terror bloomed in her chest, different from the fear of Selim, different from the fear of death. This was the fear of understanding something terrible. "You were watching me." "I was waiting," he corrected gently. "For you to be ready. The first time Selim laid a hand on you." His voice was quiet. Clinical. A doctor delivering a diagnosis. He crossed into territory that belongs to me. A new kind of terror bloomed in her chest, different from the fear of Selim, different from the fear of death. This was the fear of understanding something terrible. "You were watching me." "I was waiting," he corrected gently. "For you to be ready." She shook her head violently. "Ready for what?" Behind them, Selim laughed, bitter and broken as they dragged him toward the stairs, his feet scraping against concrete. "You stupid girl," he spat, blood on his teeth. "You think he's better than me? He owns me. He owns everyone. You just traded one cage for another." The man didn't even glance back. Selim might as well have been furniture. She looked up at him, her voice barely a whisper. "You're not saving me. You're claiming me." His lips curved, not quite a smile. Something darker. Something satisfied. "You survived," he said softly, almost tenderly. "That means you were always supposed to find me." He guided her toward the stairs, his hand at the small of her back. Proprietary. Selim was a test, he continued, almost conversational, like they were discussing the weather. "A cruel one, I admit. But necessary." "A test?" Her voice cracked. "You let him hurt me to test me? To see if you'd fight? If you'd reach out? If you'd choose survival over paralysis?" He paused at the base of the stairs, turning to face her fully. The tactical team moved around them like water around stones. Most don't. They freeze. They wait for someone else to save them. They let it happen. And if I hadn't texted you? His expression didn't change. Those gray eyes remained perfectly calm. Then you weren't the one I was looking for. The words hung in the cold air like smoke. She thought of the basement. The fear. The rope in Selim's hands. The way he'd smiled at her like she was already dead. You would have let him kill me. No, he said. I would have let you prove you weren't strong enough for what comes next. He led her up the stairs and out into the night. The farmhouse sat alone against a black sky scattered with stars that looked like broken glass. 3 vehicles idled in the driveway, headlights cutting through the darkness like prison searchlights. Selim was being forced into the back of one, still laughing, still shouting things that got swallowed by the night. The cold air hit her lungs. Real air. Free air. She could run. She could scream. But something in her chest had shifted during that climb up the stairs. The primal part of her that had been screaming in the basement had gone quiet. In its place, a strange, terrible calm. The man opened the door of the center vehicle and stepped aside. Waiting. Patient. She stood at the threshold between the farmhouse and the car, between one cage and another, between the devil she knew and the devil who'd orchestrated her rescue. Behind her, the farmhouse sat gutted and dark, the place where Selim had locked her away, where she'd been small and terrified and alone. Ahead of her, the open road stretched into nothing. No streetlights. No houses. Just darkness in every direction, and the certainty that this man's reach extended farther than she could run. Her phone was still clutched in her hand. Dead now. The battery had given out. The screen was black and cold. She thought about the business card. 4 months on her windshield. When you need help. She thought about the tattoo on both their wrists. She thought about Selim's voice, he owns me. He owns everyone. Her legs were shaking. Her breath came shallow and sharp. Her body wanted to run, wanted to fight, wanted to do anything but accept this. She could refuse. She could scream for real police. She could fight. But some part of her, the part that had typed please into the darkness, the part that had survived when he had already won. Not because he was stronger. Not because he had men with guns. Because she had nowhere else to go. Because he'd made sure of it. Because every choice she thought she'd made had been his choice all along. She looked down at her hand. It was steady now. The shaking had stopped. Someone else is making this choice, she thought distantly. Someone I don't recognize yet. Someone he's been waiting for. She got into the car. The door closed behind her with a soft, final click. The sound of a cage locking. The sound of a choice being made. The leather was warm. The car smelled like expensive cologne and gun oil. He walked around to the other side, movements unhurried, got in beside her. His coat settled around him like wings. As they pulled away from the farmhouse, she watched it disappear into the darkness through the rear window. Taking with it the girl who'd been locked in the basement. Taking with it Selim. Taking with it every version of her life that had led to this moment. Someone else was driving now. Someone he'd been waiting for. Someone she was about to become. She didn't look at him. Didn't speak. Just kept her eyes on the road ahead as it unfurled like black ribbon, hands folded in her lap like a woman going willingly to her fate. And perhaps she was. The farmhouse became a dot, then a memory. Then nothing. She'd escaped one cage only to choose another. But at least this time, she'd opened the door herself. Would you have gotten in the car? Let me know in the comments below. Wait. Don't forget to subscribe as we keep the community growing and booming. Give the video a thumbs up and also drop your suggestions in the comments section. See you in our next Mafia Dark Secret.